to own it. Just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here. Oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you.
Thanks for coming on my show today.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Well, I'm really excited because you have so much going on. You're bringing me into this project. Explain to my viewers who you are and what you do.
Oh, yeah. My name is Ernie Jaime, and I am the fundraiser coordinator for Fresno County Public Safety Association. So what I do is oversee, we do a lot of law enforcement boxing. We do marathons. And so what we're doing now is January 21st is a law enforcement boxing event. Heartbeat boxing.
So cops are going to like box each other?
It's going to be cops. It's going to be first responders.
Do we get to bet on
CHP. No betting. No betting. If you guys want to do some side betting, then that's fine. But for the most part, CHP, Livingston PD, Fresno PD, Fresno Sheriffs. That's
and you said also the EMTs?
EMTs, yes. Yeah, we have one American ambulance guy that's going to participate.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, so explain a little bit about what the organization is.
Okay, so it's Fresno County Public Safety Association, which is the president, Josh Calvert. What we do is it's basically a union, but it's not a union. And they cover Fresno County Sheriffs, the correction side, juvenile hall, and social services. So, and security, Fresno County Security.
That's cool because I know, like, I've had the different people on here, the chief of police and then the head of the Fresno County Sheriff. And it's like, I know they're separate entities, so I love that they can all come together for events like these.
Yes,
I think this is really awesome. How many a year do we have of stuff like this going on?
Well, this is the first of the year, of course, first one. But we try to do 2 or 3. This is my 10th show, No Town Throwdown. And they're all sold out. So we're looking for a great event, man. We're just, we only got 35 tickets left. So
wow.
Yeah.
You really got to get.
Yeah, and who doesn't, like Josh was saying, who doesn't like, cops fighting cops, So it's awesome.
There is something really exciting about
there is, There is, absolutely. And we're actually super excited because you're going to be one of our ring girls.
Thank you so much for bringing me in on this because this is really cool. I love it. I love the sport of boxing, so I'm really excited about this. So are they actually preparing and getting all like fit for this event? Are they actually going through some boxing courses and trying to learn to be really good for this? How does it work?
Yeah, they actually train a lot. A lot of the fighters on this show is from Batcave Boxing, which is Fresno. He's Brian Williams. He is a sergeant for Fresno PD. So the Batcave, it's called the Batcave, and they train all year. So it's nothing like, hey, let me train for this fight. They're ready. Wow. And they're nothing but alpha males. They're nothing but they're studs, really.
So we're gonna get people that know we're not gonna get the donating cops.
No, we're not. No, that's not happening. We're gonna get guys there that actually our main event is Donovan Lewis, 7-0, undefeated, ex-linebacker, University Fresno State, and University of Nebraska. So we're gonna get him fighting a guy named Kyle Hatcher, Livingston PD. It's gonna be awesome. He's 7-1. So these guys, they don't like each other. They've already expressed it.
Wow.
So yeah. So they're ready to rock and roll.
Man.
Yeah.
That is crazy. But what are is it the rules of like any other boxing? Because we don't want these guys to get hurt. So what are the rules like?
And you bring up a good point because the last thing I want is a cop getting hurt.
Right.
Really, because it's for fun. It's for charity. We give out boxing scholarships after this to the local community. For underprivileged kids.
Love that.
Yeah. So. What we do is we make sure we have a doctor, we have an ambulance, and we make sure that in the matchmaking that these guys can actually fight, and they have to be paired equally. Hey,
you're well matched.
Yes, well matched, exactly, because we can't have someone that's 5-0 and someone that's 0-3. It's not going to work. So we got to be careful with that. But other than that, these guys train all the time. You have to.
So the money that we're going to raise from this event, is that what it's not going at all the cops, it's going to underprivileged kids, or it's going to both? And then
no, so what happens is it goes to different charities or different inner city boxing gyms here.
Okay.
So what we do is these kids don't have anything. They don't have shoes, they don't have boxing gloves, they don't have wraps, nothing. So what we do is we buy them and we go either monetary, we give them a check, or we give them actually the clothes, gloves, whatever. So we try to do 8 or 9 of them, but it depends how much we make.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. And then, so how long has this been going on? I know you've been involved for the last few years. How long has it, and how has it grown since you came on board?
It actually started when Officer Scanlon, he was an officer that got shot in line of duty, Fresno Sheriff's, and someone came up to me and says, hey, we had a good barbecue, what else can we do? And I said, this is actually when I'm a retired cop, but this is actually when I was working. I said, you know what, let's do a boxing event. And we did it at the Tower Theater, sold out quicker than like within 2.5 weeks.
Wow.
And it just started going actually better, bigger, better, bigger. So about 7 years now. Yeah. So so actually the next event after this is going to be on the USS Hornet in Alameda on the aircraft.
Wow.
Yeah. We had that all scheduled before COVID, but COVID came, and now it was a little setback. But now we're ready to go. So
when's that
exciting.
happening?
We wanted to do March, but March, April.
That sounds back to back.
Yeah. Well, I usually do 2 or 3 shows.
You said a year, but that's
Yeah. So
this is back to back because this event's on the 21st of January.
So, and what we found out is the fighters want to do back to back because then they don't get a.
I get that. I understand that very well.
Yes, because they're like, well.
Yeah, as a trainer, I understand.
Yeah, you take 7-8 months off, then now you got to. Guess what? Sometimes I don't want to do this, but hey, I'm already in shape. Let's just keep it rolling. So
in Alameda, so does that mean everyone's going to travel? How's that going to work out?
So what we'll do is we'll get 6-7 fighters from here.
Okay.
And we'll get fighters from the Bay Area.
Okay.
And they'll just start fighting. We just match them up, and that's going to be more of a not really a moneymaker because you can't fit too many people on the USS Hornet.
Yeah.
So, but it's going to be more of giving back to that community. They don't see it in the Bay Area like this. So we're just going to do it and have fun. Yeah.
Well, is this something that's taking off? Because I'd imagine that other counties and different places are seeing this and they're wanting to bring that to their communities. Have you noticed any of that
Josh
happening?
and I, the president, we were about 1.5 years ago, we were in Las Vegas. We were talking to the owner of Circa, and he goes, we want you guys here. What you guys are doing, we want you.
Right, I would imagine.
Yeah. So, but we've already had so much stuff on our plate, so we just we'll get back, because we have this show, we have another show coming up, and our major sponsor, I should say this, is Mono Wins.
Okay.
Yeah, so they help us tremendously. We're on the first time they've ever sponsored a combat sport ever. So it took me 2.5 years to get that deal, but still, we closed it and we work with them. So
Love it. So a ticket, what does that include? Do we get food, dinner? What
price, general admission is $35, and we're going to sell. There's going to be beer garden. There's going to be food out there, and of course that's a different price. And again, everything goes to the charities.
I didn't even know it was going to be that affordable. I thought it was actually going to be more. Okay, so that's great.
Yeah.
That's really
yeah.
good. Okay, and then accordingly you can get if you have a taco truck or a beer garden, whatever.
It might actually. Funny you say, we may have a taco truck. We just closed that today. So taco truck, beer, fights, ring card girls. What more do you want?
Live bands.
Well, yeah.
No,
yeah.
we're all focused on the fights. So I don't know if we have time for that, but I love that. So this is like a really fun event. So what happens after the fight? Is there an after party?
You know what? We've had after hour parties, but not on this one. We're not having one for whatever reason.
We can just hang out and socialize a little bit. That's fine.
Yeah. So we usually pick. Last fight, it was Lucy's Lounge, so we kind of like that afterwards. So we may go back to Lucy's Lounge and maybe the unofficial after hours party. Yeah. So.
I love it. Well, Bobby Seltzer is an official sponsor of this show.
Yep.
So and I know he's.
Right.
I know he's sponsored other little boxers around town. Some of the
we actually have like Richard Torres at one of our events. Andy Vincent, world champion. So we have guests, but this one we're not because it's sold out really quick. It's going to sell out really quick, and we're putting a lot of effort to the Alameda as well. So we want those boxers, the professionals, there.
So people that are watching, what if they want to be involved? What if somebody is like, hey, I want to donate clothing to these kids. I want to donate some stuff. What's your advice for them? How do they get a hold of you? How do we figure that out?
They can get a hold of, actually go to Heartbeat Boxing, downtown Fresno, and talk to Gilbert Reese.
Well, that's for this event, though.
That's for this event.
Okay.
And Gilbert they can contact me from there.
Okay, because some people might want to be involved like at the onset
absolutely.
for other events.
Yes.
That.
Our vendor sponsorship tables are done. They're already sold out.
Okay.
Yes. So which is a good thing. thing.
No, it's a great.
Yeah,
but in
it's
the
a good
future, we get, because just sometimes
Yeah.
people don't know. I get people that come to me a lot and they're
Right.
like, we want to give back to the community. Where do we go?
Right.
Because there's just so much. And
Yes.
this is great. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
I know a lot of athletes, so I think a lot of people would really want to sponsor some of this.
Yeah, yeah, and and you said it. This is for me personally, for Josh. This is giving back. I spent a lot of time with the sheriff's department, and it was good to me, and I got to retire, early. But this is something where we're gonna. No one makes money. We give it back to the community.
Well, I can't believe you're doing this. You said you're retired. I'm like, this is the farthest I've seen of retirement. You're really busy. Like, you're super busy working, and there's so many moving parts.
Yeah. There is a lot of moving parts in the production of the whole event, and most of it, 99% is not just me. Of course with Josh helping, but he has his own thing. He's the president. He has his own stuff going on. But I just get dialed in, and I know what it takes to make a show successful. And I just just boom, boom, boom. I know where I have to be, where to go, and just do it.
So what are some of the things you want to see in the future? Because this is pretty big to me, like the stuff that you want to do. What are some things like 5 years from now, you want to say, I want to see this happen?
Funny you mentioned that. I said we have a sponsorship with Mono Winds, and Mono Winds is building a new casino.
Okay.
Yeah. Not too far from, what's the one that just opened up? Not Chancey, Table Mountain. So they're going to be right by Table Mountain, and they're going to do an amphitheater, and that's supposed to be open within 2 or 3 years. And guess who's going to open that amphitheater?
Oh, that's awesome! And then that's where we'll have our concerts and all that.
That's
stuff.
where all that. Yeah. So, and I'm not necessarily. We may have one of the first few shows, but. Yeah, that's something that we're really excited about, and they're Moto Winds people. Audra, she's really excited about that. So,
well, I love when big things are happening. So I think we talked a little bit about our experiences. You come from the Bay Area. I've spent a lot of time living down south, so it's really kind of fun to meet in the middle, like in the valley, and see like all that we have here and stuff.
Yeah. You know what? It's great putting on shows. Hey, I was born here, and I moved to the Bay Area after college and came back here.
So I did the same thing. Same thing, just like you.
And my roots are from the Valley, Fresno, to be exact. And and I love having the shows. I love seeing the comps. I love afterwards. You're like, hey, you put this show on, and now 2 weeks later, Josh and I get to give back to the money, the gloves to these kids. So,
but you and I were growing up here, it wasn't anything like this. Like the idea of like having an amphitheater, doing all this, bring everyone together. I mean, we've come so far from how it started.
Well, yeah.
This town. So I love seeing this prosper, that you're part of it.
Absolutely. And Fresno's grown in general.
Yeah.
I mean, Fresno has gone. My favorite saying is, people bag Fresno or talk about Fresno, but they never moved out. They never moved out of Fresno. So they don't know anything else but Fresno. But. Yeah, so this is where, like I said, where my roots are, and all my shows have been here, except, now we're going to start having Vegas and Alameda.
That is really cool to like kind of expand out there. And then you've had some really cool people a part of this stuff in the past. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so like I said, we had Richard Torres, U.S. Olympian, silver medalist, Andy Vincent's world champion. We haven't had Jose Ramirez. He's been, every time our show, he's actually been like either training for a fight or actually having a fight.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah, having a fight. And one of the best ones we had was we had Juanita Davila. She's the other officer that got hurt on that, and she was a guest at one of our shows. So that was awesome. And we had the Scanlon family there at our shows. So that's just. It works.
What about the actor? What was he involved in that you were talking about?
Oh, the actor was Jay Hernandez. Jay Hernandez. That was a clothing line. Totally different, though. Yeah, that was a clothing line.
So we get involved a little bit with that, too, right?
Yeah.
With clothing lines. So is that another thing that you want to do in the future, to partnership up with some of that?
Yeah, we actually may be having, it's funny you mentioned that, a partnership with a little old school, but it's still around, Affliction.
Okay.
Yeah. Josh met with him about 3 weeks ago. Yeah, so. Very close to that, and they've never done a combat sport too.
I love this. I love watching it. I love that I'm like here getting to be just being on the sidelines. Great. I'm glad that you're really having me involved in the show. And then we have somebody else involved in the show that's going to come out here. So we have another fellow ring girl with us. Jenny, how do you feel about doing this show?
Oh, I'm excited. I'm new to this, doing the events as a ring girl.
Well, you've modeled, and then you're also very athletic. You go to the gym a lot. And stuff, so
yes, I do.
it's going to be fun to see like these cops throw down.
Yeah, I love cops.
So what are we going to do? Are we going to put like when they're losing and when they put the big numbers up there?
No, the numbers would be that winning or losing. The numbers would be up there. It's only 3 rounds.
Okay.
So and sometimes, unfortunately, these guys don't make it to 3 rounds. You know, they get knocked out or whatever. But I'm so excited, and I want to thank you, both you guys, for being ring girls. I know you guys are both from the Valley and giving back. I know you're a nurse, and excited to see a lot of. There's going to be actually first responders on the show, on the fight, and you know, just thank you.
Well, as long as someone gets mad at us and comes after us, we're like, we're not calling any shots, so I think we'll be okay. That was really cool. No, thanks for having us out there. And then if we want to just know the highlights from it, where do we follow you on social media?
I'm at Fresno Yank Fan at Yahoo, and if you want to get tickets, Heartbeat Boxing.
Okay, and then also for like the organization, what are some other like websites we can go on for that?
The organization has their own website. They're different. Like we were with a big toy drive that just happened with Lowell Elementary. So we participated in that, and that's on there as well. Past events that we've had, that's on there as well.
What's the website for that?
Fresno County Public Safety Association.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's actually really easy. Okay.
Yeah. So and then that actually has where you can get tickets as well for this event too.
So we can either go to the game, we can go to your Insta, we can go to there.
Yes. Different,
you're great at
avenues.
responding, so.
Yes, different. And the best way is Heartbeat too. Yeah, but like I said, ticket total was roughly maybe 35 tickets left. So,
right.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I talked to Gilbert today. He may add standing room only the day of the fight, but we'll see.
And shout out to Gilbert, who's been a guest on the show many times. And then Jenny, where do we follow you? What's your Instagram?
You can follow me on IG as Asian Cutie. No, Jenny _ fit.
Fit Girl, isn't it Fit Girl?
I have to. I forgot. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on my show today.
Thank you for having us. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on the show, Jim.
Well, thanks for having me.
First time in this studio.
First time.
And it's your birthday today.
And it is my birthday. I saved it for you.
I love that. This is like the first episode of the year. Brand new year, brand new birthday, brand new you. What's going on with Flex Factory?
A lot of changes this year. So we had like a little rough year. So I said we hired a new marketer, took over all our social media and all that.
Did COVID mess everything up?
Oh, yeah. It was pretty bad. We had a good bounce back year in 21, and then it tanked in 22, and now we're redoing a lot of things. So it'll be the brand new Flex Factory here in the next month or so.
So what are some of the things we can expect to see change?
So we're going to have a lot of new programs. Right now we only have a couple options of programs. We're going to have multiple, maybe 6 or 7 different programs that you can.
Meaning like for
So diet, it could be like a 6-week just get cut program, a 6-week bulk program. We're doing like different detox programs, and then a membership fee and and a regular diet. So you could be a member of Flex Factory and get unlimited check-ins and things like that. So
Oh,
it'll be
that's pretty cool. That's
yeah.
a great idea.
Yeah,
okay.
we started an ambassador program, and we have 4 out of our 5. We're looking for 1 more ambassador, so we're getting that going. So just some changes. It's this marketing person, you know, we needed that for years, and we finally did it. So.
Yeah. Are you guys at all kind of like me? Because, you know, it's January 1st, everyone comes in all pumped, wanting to get fit, and they taper off. Does that happen a lot with you guys?
All the time, yeah. We get a lot of. It's almost like a light switch when the Christmas ends. All of a sudden we get busy, and then that'll last till the weather gets. You know, it'll start cooling off the March, and then when the weather gets better again, we get another surge like that. Like everybody's all right. It's time to get ready for the, you know, hot weather and wearing less clothes, and so we get a lot of that.
And I direct people to you all the time because I don't really like to do diets. I don't know how you do them because no one ever listens to me. So I don't like to talk if nobody listens.
Right. We get some of that. We get some of that too. But.
So how do you get people to stay on track?
It's really if the person's goal is strong enough to keep them motivated. So like if it's you know, I put on the shows for 15 years. So when there's a date, you're all in.
Yeah.
If it's just, I just would like to lose a few, it's not a hard enough goal. So they need a little push or leverage, or like a lot of companies will do, or people will come together and do like a contest amongst a bunch of friends for some money, and that gives them a little bit more motivation to stay on their program. So that kind of stuff helps.
What's going on with shows now? Because you're doing it, but not doing it, or you've taken a different role in it. Tell us a little bit about what's going on with shows now, what you were doing and what you're doing now.
Okay, so for the last 15 years, I was doing MPC, which feeds into the IFBB shows. So everybody knows that, like from the Mr. Olympia and all that.
Yeah.
So we were in the amateur league that feeds into that professional league. And
you have professionals doing the shows as well, though.
Correct.
You have a
Yeah.
lot of pros in the shows, even though I guess it's like, okay.
Right. So this, the way the industry's going, they kind of wanted to downsize and not have as many promoters. They wanted to control it a little bit more, so they were kind of like trying to get rid of us. So they bought us out.
Okay.
And so we sold the shows. And then I don't know if you're familiar with, like, the Washington Post has been doing a lot of investigations on the NPC and IFBB, the corruption, the money laundering, the exploitation,
Really?
pornography. They're doing a lot of these investigations. So in the big scheme of things, we're hoping that that takes down the NPC, and this new league that I'm partnering up with will fill that void. That's the hope. But
Wow.
otherwise, I'm in the competition league now. I joined a different league.
So what
this
league are you in now?
So it's called IFBB Physique America, and it's primarily East Coast shows. So I am bringing it to the West Coast. So they've only done one ever in the West Coast like 5 years ago.
Well, I love East Coast people. Are we going to see some of those over here? Are they going to come a little bit and travel?
I don't know. We'll see.
Why
possibly.
is it so weird on that with, like, you know, the East Coast, West Coast bodybuilding? Why is it so segregated? Like,
I know, it's, you know, because they're in the middle of the country. It's not a big popular thing, but there's like the East Coast mecca of bodybuilding. There's a lot of hardcore, and then there's the West Coast. You know, there's other places like Texas is really big on it and things like that, but it seems like the Midwest, people aren't into the fitness as they are in the East and the West.
well, maybe you'll get some of them to come on over and do that.
We're hoping. And being the first in California to do this new show or bring it back, we're hoping we could do more shows and see how we go. But as now, we're going up against our old shows, my old show. We're doing it in the same month. I figured, you know, people can do, as an amateur, you can do multiple leagues and multiple shows.
Well, and you know, okay, so I was talking to Ernie, our mutual friend, and he was saying about that because he's going to do a couple boxing shows back to back. He says he likes to do 3 events a year, and like, well, they don't want to like get back, you know, unravel everything they just did, have an 8-week gap, and then be back in shape again. So is that kind of like a little bit of like what you're saying? It's like when you're already getting prepared for that show, just go show. So you
Correct.
get,
And yeah,
so it's
and
better
work
for
on
the
your craft.
performers. It's better
Absolutely,
for the
yeah. I think it's better for the athletes.
Right.
But as the league, I know that the NPC, the people who took over the shows, they're going to be kind of like, they don't like that. They want to be the only show and
I understand.
control everything. But as an athlete, until you turn pro, you can do multiple amateur leagues.
And it's good to have it all, like, so they don't have to do all that.
So. I think it's good for the athletes.
Yeah, people come to me all the time too, asking how to get into this. Again, I throw everybody at you because you're the expert. I just like to stay in shape, get fit, all that stuff. But I love, you know, picking your brain. What does everybody who wants to get into this do, and what's the difference? This is going way back for you to like explain in layman terms to like people that don't want to know anything about the different in the competitions, about physique, bodybuilding, this and that.
Okay, so they've, over the years, it's like, so when I was competing, they had bodybuilding.
Okay.
That was your choice. Bodybuilding for men and bodybuilding for women. So they started adding more to make it a little more mainstream. So they do it where it's, for the women, for example, they have bikini, which is considered the least muscular, but there's still a degree of muscularity and symmetry and how proportionate your body is. Then from there, it goes up to the next category, which is more muscular, is called wellness. So that's girls that are a little bigger legs, a little bigger butt, a little bit more muscular, but looking like a bigger bikini girl.
Okay.
And then there's figure. Now figure now you see like a lot more conditioning, you see all the separation of the muscles, and that's more where it's like the shape is different. We want girls with bigger, wider shoulders, littler hips, it's more of the V, things like that. And then there's another category which is called women's physique, where they're actually posing, like flexing their muscles. So it's almost like a bodybuilding in a way. And then there's actually, on the comeback, is women's bodybuilding. So they're just a bigger version of the figure, of the physique women.
So basically, any female that's a little bit fit, there's a spot
There's a
for
category
us.
for her, correct.
Awesome. Okay.
And then some people start in one, like they start in bikini, and as they develop, they start to grow into the other categories. And that's the kind of like, that was the goal of the whole industry, to have people start in one and grow into the other ones. But some people just stay, like that's what they want. They don't want to get so
Right.
muscular. So we get a lot of that, like women don't want to put on that muscle, but they want to compete in the smaller ones.
So what about for men?
So for men, they started other extra ones too. So from bodybuilding, then they added something called physique. So physique was, you know, it was always kind of a thing we kind of talk smack about, like guys that had big upper bodies and no leg development, because legs hurt and people don't want to work legs. So,
Right.
But now there's a category for that. So they call it men's physique. So they wear board shorts that cover their knees. So we don't judge the legs, and it's more of an upper body show. And when it started, they were supposed to have the beach body, kind of a model look, the pretty boy kind of thing. And then it started slowly evolving till they got bigger and bigger. And it seems like all the categories do that. They just kind of let it go, and then all of a sudden they go, oh no, these guys are too big. So they should have capped that at the beginning. Then they started another category, which would have made sense for the men's physique, but it's called classic physique, where it's more, it would probably make more sense if they called it classic bodybuilding, because it was like a throwback to the 70s looking bodybuilders, where they were smaller, but they had really good shape and more aesthetics.
Right.
And so the conditioning was good, but it was a smaller guy, not like too freaky looking. And that's governed by height and weight. So if you're a certain height, you can only have a maximum weight that goes along with your height. So that keeps the guys smaller from getting too big.
And
then
going
if they
straight
get
at body bump, because
Right.
if you ever want to put the mass on, then you go up to that.
Correct. Yeah, if you can't make weight, then you can't do that category.
Okay.
Like if you're 5'8", let's say, like the most you could weigh is like, and this is not exact number, but around like a 175.
Okay.
And then so if you weigh more than that, you cannot compete in that category. You would have to do the bodybuilding or the physique one.
So that's about like four different categories for men as well, and the
Correct. Yeah.
and that's all by age as well, right?
So they do have age. That's the masters.
Either
After
age or weight.
35, or if you're not in the masters groups, which would be 35, 45, 50, it would go by height and weight. So there's that one category that goes by both height and weight. The board shorts goes by height only, and the bodybuilders that are the big ones goes by weight only. So you can be really short and really tall, but if you weigh the same, you're still competing against each other.
Wow. Okay. And it's funny that you say about how it's like morphed into different things, because I noticed that even like with Arnold Schwarzenegger, if you look back at his career, he's gone through the different. He wasn't always as mass. It was like he started with like being like lower in muscles to like to more tone, the more cuts, then to getting bigger in mass on. So you see a lot of that happen in these competitions, because that's like how a bodybuilder typically transforms.
Right. And in every sport, even if you look at like football, like if you look at how big the football players were in the 70s compared to now, they're like so much bigger. And the bodybuilders are the same too. They were so much bigger. Like Arnold at 6'2", in his best days was probably like 235 pounds. So now the guys that are like the top guys are shorter than him, but weigh almost 300 pounds. And so it's just, they've gotten so much bigger from the training, from the nutrition, from all the extra stuff that people do for that, has just evolved into bigger and bigger. And then I think the guys were getting so big that these other categories are actually getting more popular now. Like the classic one, that old throwback to the old 70s look, that's really popular now.
And what I love about you, you help everybody, because my mom used to come in and get supplements for you. So it's not just, you're not just helping bodybuilders. I know people get that misconception, but you're really helping everybody of all levels and what's right for them. So you guys, I know you're revamping. Are you still like that when anybody just comes in off the street completely blind of what they should get, because you have so many things to overwhelm them? You tell them, hey, what are you looking for? This is what we have for you. This is what you need for that. You're still giving that service? Okay.
Yeah, we do that. And and just as me personally, as I got older, I started moving more from the fitness and bodybuilding to just total wellness. So we do a lot of gut health. We do a lot of detox programs, and we just try to do that. So there's people that don't even exercise that come to us, just because maybe they have gut problems, or they just want to diet and eat cleaner and learn how to eat healthy. So we do a lot of those type of programs too. It's not just trying to make everybody a bodybuilder.
A lot of people have gut problems. You're seeing a lot of like.
A ton of that. That is so popular, for bad
So you
reasons.
have some really good products for that, huh?
Yeah, we have products and we do diets and we do, the detox stuff to really clean somebody out and reset the gut. We do a lot of those things.
And what's interesting about you is you do a lot of your own diet. So like you're always trying a different diet yourself. You're actually
Every diet
the
we've
guinea
done,
pig.
I like to guinea pig and try it, and I want to see firsthand what things feel like. So I cycle through diets all the time just to get a feel for it, and I think that's why you really could troubleshoot a diet.
Well, I think that's really interesting. I mean, that's why I think you're the best person to go to, because you're not just taught, you're doing it yourself. And
Right.
I've seen you do it. So what were some of the ones, is there something that is there any diet that you just think is absolutely crazy? You can't believe people do it.
No, I mean, there's a place for a lot of diets. I did, what's really popular lately is the carnivore diet. So the carnivore diet, I don't know if you're familiar with the rules of that. So if it comes from an animal, you can eat it. If it doesn't, you can't eat it. So it's pretty limiting. So I tried it and I did it for a week, and I just didn't care for it. And I like meat, but it just wasn't that. After a while, you get sick of it, that diet. And I don't know how people do that for years and years and years. But the results, the reduce of inflammation, and I lost a pound a day when I was doing it.
Wow.
You felt good, but it just got really boring.
Is
for a
that good to
diet.
do every day, or a lot of diets you're not really supposed
I'm not
to
a
do?
big fan of that one because I'm a big believer in fiber and things
Wouldn't
like
that be bad
so
eventually over time if you did that every day for like?
Personally, I think so. But there's people
Right.
who've done it for years and
they're
have,
fine.
have fixed a lot of their ailments, because it's more, to me, that seems like an elimination diet. I don't know if you're familiar with that one. Like when someone has allergies or something, they eliminate
Yeah, you start
everything.
eliminating. Yeah.
So that seemed just like that. So that's where I think that has its best place for a diet like that, like an elimination type diet. Then I think it's beneficial.
What's one of your favorite ones that you like to go to?
I'm a big believer in rotating through diets. So I do plant-based diet every year. Every November,
Okay.
I go plant-based as kind of a like detox, kind of give my system a break, the digestive system, because digesting meats is heavy. There's a tax to
Right.
be paid, if you will. Like think of it that way, like a tax on your body that is extra aging on our body as we have to digest food. So that gives it a little break. We're big into fasting. We do a lot of that. And again, it's depending on the goals. So like we wouldn't have a bodybuilder do a lot of fasting, but we've had people do like 3-week water fasts. Nothing to eat for 3 weeks, and I personally have done 2 weeks of that kind of stuff. But
The
for
2
a
weeks was your
bodybuilder-
max?
Yeah, that's my max.
Did you like it?
I did. It was a great experience for that. I felt
And you're good.
smarter, everything.
People can go to you too to even know how to break fat, because I know that's a big thing too. Just because a lot of people know, hey, they read that and they're like, let's do this and that. They don't know how to break fast properly. A lot of people
Right.
with probiotics, they don't know how to do the switch. They just hear, oh, this is good. They don't know what they're supposed to. So you do a lot of explanation on that, right?
Absolutely, yeah. We always want to educate people on when we do diet programs. We want to give you the information so you own it more. And in that, 'cause some people come to us to fix diets from other coaches, and I'll ask a question like, why is this going on in your diet? And they have no clue. So I always tell people, when you have somebody coaching you, whoever, whether it be us or someone else, ask questions, and you should understand what we're trying to do and why. Always ask the whys. And there's some coaches don't like to be asked, and I said that's a red flag.
That's a red flag.
Yeah, if you don't like to be questioned, then it's time to move on.
I just send them straight to you. I'm like, I don't like to give diets, so just go to Jim.
There you go.
He knows what he's doing.
That's the way to do it. Keep sending.
No, and so you guys sell more than just products. You're doing clothes too. Any cool stuff? Do you guys have Flex Factory bikinis yet?
Not yet. We do have bikinis for competitions, but not just the Flex
not for
Factory
everyone.
one.
Well, yeah.
But we have we do a lot of clothes, so we have another batch coming out. We try to keep it moving, keep different stuff. So we're going to come out with some new stuff in the springtime here.
And then with diets, I mean, I think you probably get a lot of that. I've been getting so overwhelmed this week about, people that want free fitness advice, which I'm like you, I'm passionate about it, so I could talk fitness all day. What do you get when people want all this like free dietary advice? Because I'm sure you get that a lot, and then there's like...
We do, and we try to, give them a little bit of information, but actually that's what we do for a living too. So
I know, it's going to be really hard for you.
Yeah, it's tough, but we try to give a lot of information out. So we're a store that we don't just, if you come in and ask questions, we're gonna give you answers. We like to talk shop also.
Right.
So, and we have so many different programs. I mean, I've been studying nutrition for 40 plus years, so we've been, I have a lot of knowledge and I can give a lot of information. So we do. So whether it be workout, nutrition, detoxification, we work a lot with some of the doctors in town, like Dr. Bautista.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll do a lot of cancer diets, if you will. We do it
Really?
to get
That's
people
really
ready.
cool.
Yeah, kind of get them healthier before they're going to start like treatment or something like that. So we do things.
So
like
tell
that
us
too.
a little bit about that. What's your success been like in that?
It's been pretty good, actually. I've always kind of wanted someone to try to take it on just holistically, completely, and just see if they could do nutrition. But that's a scary thing for them. If you're facing that. So far we haven't had anybody do that, but we've had people get ready for treatment and do really well. And I had Dr. Bautista call me on a Sunday because we had someone we were working with went to Stanford for treatment after we kind of built them up, and he did his part, we did our nutrition, and he went to Stanford to get some treatment, and they said they weren't really big into holistic, but they've never seen anybody do so well. His numbers were great, he got through the treatment in half the time, cancer went away quick, and so we were all part of that, So it was a pretty neat experience to be.
That is really great, and that's been a big pet peeve I know with people that family members of other people that have had cancer said, well, they're eating just complete crap, and so that's so great. People can come to you for all of that. I love that.
Absolutely.
What's some of the coolest thing that you've seen in like your history of all this? Like not other ailments that you've seen being cured from some of your diets.
A lot of the stomach stuff. I've had somebody that the whole life, so it was a woman, she was 65. Since she was a kid, she had stomach problems to the point where she doesn't go to restaurants, she doesn't go on vacations because she knows it's going to end bad. It's going to be in the bathroom and not.
Yeah.
And so we started working with her. I remember this year, it was a few years ago, on a January, and then that summer, she went on a real vacation and enjoyed it. And that was so much more rewarding for us rather than, we've had people turn pro, we've had world champions.
Right.
But that was just more rewarding, just really change somebody's life rather than just to have them win an event. So that was really special for us to do things like that. So
and I bet a lot
those.
of it was kind of simple too.
It is. The gut problems are not that difficult. You hear the different terms from celiac to Crohn's to this, and the fix is almost all the same. We just clean out the gut, reset it, don't put junk in it, just put better food, and then you're fixed. It's pretty simple.
I love it. No, it's a lot of sense. So that's so great. How do people get a hold of you if they want to come? And how do we get a hold of you?
So the Flex Factory, you can find us on IG, Flex Factory Nutrition. We're also located in Clovis by GB3 on Herndon and Fowler. Going on 18 years in April. We've been there 18 years. So been there for a while. So most people, if they're into the fitness, they've heard of us, I guess. But there's people out there that just discovering fitness and discovering us. So that's where we're at. We're in that shopping center there.
And a lot of times people come and get some supplements before they go in. Did you still do that where you do shots?
Right, yeah.
So you guys can take a shot before workouts. Not the kind I would take, but.
Right. We might be able to mix in a little of that. But we do like with open pre-workouts, and we have it set up where we have a shelf where the top shelf is our strong stuff and it gets lighter as it comes down.
And then we can take a shot after our workout.
We can do that too.
So we do that. You do like a lot of the proteins. Some people come before and after, right?
Right. So we have the recovery products. One of our biggest, most popular products is Aftershock Recovery by Myogenics, which is a company that started here locally in Clovis. They're not here. They got really big and they moved on to bigger and better pastures, I guess. But the CEO was from Fresno State, so it was kind of neat. And I was the first athlete they signed. I was doing their ads and stuff for them back in the early days. And that's a really good product for recovery and things like that.
So is that something that's included in these new packages you have? So if I want to come every single day before I go to the gym, take a shot, and then do something afterwards, is there like a package for me for that? Like, do I get like a discount if I'm in one of you said you had different packages?
Right.
So is there something like that where I could do that and get it something heavily discounted or no?
Yeah, so if you were a member, so you would pay a membership fee.
There's
a
like 5
fee.
memberships, right? Or 4 different memberships?
Well, we're going to have like a few different things.
Right.
But one of them is a membership fee, so you're going to see 2 prices on our products.
Okay.
One's going to be the number price and one's going to be the member price. So there's going to be heavy discount.
So I will get a discount every time just being a member.
Right.
Well, that is something I'm going to look into. Thank you so much for coming on my show, Jim.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on my show today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm excited because I heard about all the cool stuff you did. I had no idea about it. I talked to Arlene. So tell us what you do.
So I work for Fresno Housing Authority. I've been here 16 years now, actually. My anniversary today, 16 years at the agency.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm all lucky. I get birthdays, anniversary is awesome.
Yes, but the Housing Authority is a great resource for the community. It's widely known as the Section 8 manager, but it's formerly known as Housing Choice Voucher. We manage about 13,000 vouchers throughout Fresno County. My area of responsibility in specific is around real estate development and property management. So we're putting together projects all throughout the county, from Huron to North Fresno, Clovis, downtown, Chinatown. We're we're building all over the place.
She was saying that you guys offer a lot of help to people, not so much on the poor side, that you're helping with the middle class, a lot of the people that can't. So tell us how that's going, how things have kind of transformed. So I'm sure things have changed a lot from when you started to how things are now. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, you know, we as housing authorities that are known as legacy programs, or housing choice voucher and public housing, since we've come on, we really focused on building new developments using different incentives out there, primarily the low-income housing tax credit program, which is a whole show in itself to talk about.
I would love that too. We definitely, that would be something that would interest me as well.
Yeah, but we do some work with the homeless, so we serve that population all the way up to market rate. We do quite a bit of market rate and middle income. So to give an example, a family of 4 under the tax credit program, which is the primary tool that we're using, could be up to, depending on the family size, about $60,000. So not probably the low income that you would think of necessarily, but it's often 2 head of households working full time, maybe entry level positions, and just need that extra help with quality affordable housing.
And that's perfect, because that's what a lot of people need, especially now everything's gone up, prices have gone up. So you say you help the homeless, and this is always the biggest thing. It's like we're not doing enough for the homeless. What aren't we doing? How are you helping them? What should we be doing?
It's a complex issue. I don't know that we're going to figure it out, but it's part of the area we've been working on recently is primarily around Parkway Drive here in Fresno, acquiring motels using some innovative state programs to house them temporarily. So the goal is 90 days, and as we assist them with moving out, it's a very complex issue. Some of the services they provide seems easy for the average person, but connecting them to social programs like food stamps and getting the driver's license, some of the simple things, because if you're entitled to any programs, where do they mail your check when you're homeless?
Right, exactly. Right? Where do they mail your check?
There's different ways, but the number one way is to get them housed, right?
I never thought about that. Yeah. I know it sounds very simple. I just never thought. So it's like, okay. Yeah. So we go to you for a lot of things.
We're just one player. It's a network, continuum of care. The city, the county are huge leaders in this work. We're just one slice of it.
Okay, what about people who are losing their houses? Do you do anything help with that? So what if you do get that middle class, family that's about to lose something and they need help for a little bit? Where do we go for that? Where do we go for help?
We really don't help with the mortgage side of things. We're more on the rental side of things.
Okay.
We do some home ownership, but for sale, but not a whole lot of that. And so there's still lots of resources out there in the community for folks that are struggling to make payments. HUD's always a good resource, or different agencies that provide counseling.
So maybe like more, you're in a lot of transitional phases. Do you get a lot of people that they're getting divorced and they just kind of like don't know where to go and they're losing kind of that?
You name it. The folks that show up at our doors are all over, every story you can imagine, we've heard it. One interesting story, talking about the motels is the challenges that the families that we serve are having are pretty significant. When we acquired some of the hotels, there was existing residents that had lived there for years and years. They're paying anywhere from $1,200 to $1,300 for a motel room. It's not even a nice motel room, which
my goodness,
which is kind of crazy. I know the real estate market's gotten a little crazy over the last couple of years, but to think, why don't they go get an apartment, right, where they can pay $900, $1,000, something like that? Well, sometimes it's challenges with credit. Sometimes it's challenges with getting enough money to put down, first month deposit, all of that. And so there's a variety of challenges, but these folks are paying that much to live in motel rooms because of some of these barriers that they're facing.
So that's where you kind of come in to help a little bit with that and tell them how they can.
Part of the services we provide is everything from giving advice on budgeting, personal finance, to helping with GEDs. Our agency provides scholarships, so some of the folks in our programs that want to attend school, we help with that. And so a variety of spaces, but primarily our at least my area is focused on developing new projects, so all throughout the county.
So what's your goal? What are some of the things you want to see happen this year?
So some of the things we're working on, we have some grand openings. If you ever in the downtown area near Chinatown, you'll see a 4-story building there at F Street in Mariposa.
Okay.
So that represents kind of our first development in Chinatown, and probably the first investment from anybody at a significant scale in several decades. So we started on that project back in 2017, actually, and partnered with the city, the state, HUD to assemble financing to put that investment there. And so early on in the process, folks would be like, well, who wants to live in Chinatown? Have you been to Chinatown? I was like, yeah, that's why we want to invest and really start transformative work. Let's not forget the high-speed rail station is planned for downtown Fresno, and it has 2 entries. One to downtown, of course, but the other one's to Chinatown. And our property, the Housing Authority owns, is about a block over, so really at the doorstep. And so early on, folks, again, who wants to live in Chinatown? We opened up the interest list for new applicants for about 2 weeks and received over 3,000 applications in the time frame.
I bet.
So who wants to live in Chinatown? Lots of people.
I can imagine. I bet you that happens a lot. So is that why you always have to expand because that's what you're looking at? I'm sure that those are the numbers you're getting constantly.
Right. So and the common question is, where's their demand? Where do we need to build housing? And the answer is everywhere. Every inch of this county that we proposed a project, we've had massive wait list. And so the housing is needed everywhere.
So county, so where exactly is it expand? What is it? Where's like the local? Where's the gap for you? Where does it cap off?
So we're entire Fresno County. So we've developed, pretty
like
much
Easton, Fresno, Clovis. You're getting.
Yeah, we've done projects in Sanger, Kingsburg, Selma. Right now we just started a project in Orange Cove, which is a major remodel. We got new construction in Huron. We're in along Blackstone.
Okay.
Blackstone near pretty close to Manchester Center. So we're really everywhere. For 2023, we just received funding for a new project in Fireball. We received one for Northeast Fresno, and one of the motels that we purchased along Parkway is going to be renovated into high quality permanent housing.
Wow. And so what do you do specifically? What's your role in everything?
Well, I manage a great development team where there's about 16 staff on that team. And we do everything from site acquisition, pre-development work, so working on designs and getting entitled to get permitted through the city. And the real struggle is really trying to assemble the financing. So some of these projects are, $30+ million. And in the affordable housing world, you have to really kind of assemble, think of a piece of pie that has many pieces. You really have to kind of get the different pieces together to make these happen. It's not uncommon to have 3 or 4 funding sources, maybe more. And so that's, how do we put all this together? It's, fun.
And so is a lot of building from the ground up or a lot of just renovating and taking old places over? What do you get more
A little bit both. I think, historically we've done mostly new construction. We've done rehab where buildings have fallen apart, so we need to save them by investing major investments there. But right now the state policies are really trying to drive new development. How do we address the housing crisis we're having is, yes, we need more affordable units, but we just need more units in general.
And so when there's a unit available, the first thing you do is you go on there, see how it's doable. This is the kind of vision we have. Is that kind of like the first step?
Yeah. We look at a site. Zoning's important. How tall, how many units can you build? Before I got into this industry, I thought any piece of dirt you could develop anything you wanted there, and that's just not the case. The city has a great planning, experts that help provide zoning in that direction. So as long as as you look at a site, does it meet your goals, the intentions of what you want to do with it?
And then how does it get looked upon when you're helping people like lower income families and they're like, we don't really want that around our area? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, and when you say that, less and less today than it was in early years.
I bet the onset you really had a struggle.
Yeah, because of the Housing Authority managed Section 8, which is a scary word for some folks, and we had public housing, which was never really designed to be great. But as we started developing great product in any community, they're still like, wow, that's affordable housing, and for the viewers out there, there's probably affordable housing close to you that you don't know is affordable housing because it looks
different now.
It looks great. Not only the product that the Housing Authority is building, but as an industry, affordable housing developers are doing a fantastic job in building high quality product.
How do you find out there's affordable housing in your area? Is there like an area that like or a site we can go on to see and then see where we can live and stuff? Because I know I have friends that were looking for that. They have children. They want to look. So how do you find that to see where you can go, or if it's in your kid's school district or whatnot?
Sure. So any of the resources the Fresno Housing Authority has, go to our website, fresnohousing.org. Other places are, there's links to if you Google the California Tax Credit Allocation Committee, they'll have a list of properties. If you look on there in a map, and you can identify properties that are available in your area, and then there's little dots. Click on it, and it has a phone number you can call. So there's several resources out there.
That's awesome. I still am very curious about people that are homeless, how they're getting their mail.
That's a whole other thing that's beyond. I'm more on the real estate side. The program staff would probably be somebody else be suited for that. But getting back to your question about, the scariness of affordable housing coming to your community, that's true of every community, right? You would normally think, other places that are more affluent would have the concern, and they do. But low-income areas that you think are low-income and are low-income, they have the same concerns about low-income people coming in, because there's everybody has a picture of what what that person or that family looks like, and it's a lot of it's a myth. We do, depending on the program and the objectives, we do serve some really tough families, right, that are hard to house, but also the traditional average family we're serving. And I've done these types of presentations before in front of community groups, where we look at, here's the income targeting, for this property. Let's see what jobs are available in the community, right, that make this much income, that if they wanted to, could apply and be eligible to live there. And it could be the barista at Starbucks. It could be the lunch lady at your kid's school. It could be the bank teller. It could be a lot of entry-level positions. And as I do the presentation, folks are like, well, I like my lunch lady. I like the bank teller. Well, yeah, these are all the people that we're talking about. It's not whatever image you had, in your head.
I know that. I mean, even when you see people that are homeless, and then people are gonna like you, they think that. I'm like, there's not much difference between me and what's the difference between me and them? A choice, a couple of, we could be there tomorrow. We just don't know what tomorrow holds for us. And that's why I thought maybe you had a lot of like divorced people or people that were transitioning, because life is just, full of transitions like that.
Yeah, any facet.
And a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck these days.
Right.
So that's a very scary thing to me when I hear people are living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, that could easily put you there. 3 months being out of work could put you there.
Easily. And so we, the way that sort of the industry measures being burdened with rent or mortgage, whichever it be, is we kind of measure 30 to 40% of your income going towards, housing cost. And
just that, really?
Yeah. And in Fresno County, there's over 30,000 families or households that are paying more than 30%.
That's what I would think.
Significant over that. And so that everybody, in different income levels has they're experiencing burden in their housing.
Right.
And so there's a need for a variety of different housing products and rent structures.
And so even though I know you're on more on the developmental side, how do you guys manage where it's like there is such a long wait list? Who is it, a first come first serve? How do you do that?
It's interesting. So the biggest program we operate is the Housing Choice Voucher Program. And so the last time we opened up the wait list, I think, was probably around 2018. And at that time, we opened it for about 2 weeks.
Okay.
And within those 2 weeks, we received over 50,000 applications. And so we're still working through that list. And there are certain priorities for folks. If they're disabled, a veteran, they do get a preference in terms of being selected, but it literally is a lottery.
Wow, it's just a lottery just to even get on that end.
Yeah, and what's interesting, but historically, if you get a voucher, you are lucky for receiving one. We don't get any new vouchers, each and every year. We're just able to reissue the vouchers that are turned back to us because folks have moved on, been successful and transitioned out, or for whatever reason lost their voucher. So we're able to reissue those, which is somewhere around 1,000 vouchers a year, with over 50,000 families that even got to apply, right, that are looking for this. And so when you get selected for a voucher, it really is, it could be viewed as a golden ticket, right, for housing. Historically, once we issue a voucher, the families are able to go out in the marketplace and secure a unit. We have about we historically have a 70+ success rate. With
A
this,
70% success rate in what?
if folks that receive a voucher that actually are successful in leasing, they find a place,
Okay.
they able to move in and take advantage of the subsidy, move
That's
in.
good. That's a good success rate.
Historically, but over the last 2 years or so, as with COVID and the economic conditions improving here, with rents going up and vacancies going down, less than 30% of the families now are successful in leasing because there's just not enough units available in the community.
Wow. So how do we help you as a community? What do we need to do?
That's a great question. Actually, one of the things we partnered with the city of Fresno with is to roll out, actually just rolled out first of this year, is called a voucher incentive program. And that's really trying to incentivize private landlords, if you own a couple houses, come join us, and to improve and accept a Section 8 voucher.
So they get some like tax deductions and...
for this, they get incentives, so monetary, so if they're the first time into a program, they get an incentive in addition to rent and all that stuff.
Okay.
And so
they're probably going to get the rent they want and a little bit, and then some.
and it just is kind of think of it as kind of a bonus, right?
Okay,
And that's
okay.
as an incentive to so that's what community members can do is if they have own property, have never
Well,
thought
that's
about
great because a
renting
lot
to
of people are
Section 8.
doing B&Bs. So maybe some people that have B&Bs that aren't happy with the B&B.
Yeah,
I mean, I think I might rather do that, have some section
Section 8.
for
yeah.
one to deal with one family instead of like a lot, because I mean, I think a lot of people that have taken on the B&B responsibility,
Yeah.
so that there is, I think, a lot of people that might want to do that.
Yeah, so we've done that to incentivize and help our
that working?
residents. Well, it's just launching right now, but we have done a pilot several years back, and that was successful.
Wow.
One of the biggest things we did as well is try to make sure that whenever a resident has a voucher, that they're out there competing in the marketplace, right, to try to get someone to rent, find a place to rent. We normally had what was competitive at the time, but since rents have been increasing, we've been increasing the payment standards that we provide. And so we're able to have our residents compete for properties and other areas that maybe they haven't in the past.
Wow, this is really good to know. So I'm so excited to see how that's going to go this year.
Yeah, no, we want to have the families that do have voucher to be successful. That's our goal. That's our purpose here in the community.
Well, Arlene was saying this was a very rewarding job. How do you feel?
It is, absolutely, to see a lot of work. I'll go back to my example of the Monarch at Chinatown. We started working on that project in 2017, and families just moved in and were fully leased up. We leased up and we were pre-leased, so the day we opened up, families were welcome to start moving in. And so those are exciting days when you see kids just eyes opened up to a brand new unit that they can never imagine they could be in, and it's affordable and it's theirs, and we provide other services to try to help them move up and whatever the goals are.
Have you stayed in touch with anyone? I know you're like the man behind the scenes, so a lot of people probably don't even know they're there because of you. But do you hear some of the success stories later that somebody who got the help ended up really getting later on?
Yeah, we hear the success stories all of the time. Not about me specifically, although once in a while I hear my name through residents that I've never met that are thanking me so much.
I
so
love that.
So that's the best
great.
when I indirectly are able to connect with folks. But I think that's true of everybody that works at the agency. It's no one does this alone, right? It's a team effort, and our agency partners with the city and the county and other organizations to deliver the service. It truly is the saying that it takes a village. It truly does, because no one can do this alone.
Well, I appreciate you doing this for the community, and thank you so much for coming on my show and talking about it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me and letting me share a little bit about the Housing Authority.
Felt right in the moment, felt right in the summertime. It felt right drinking cherry wine with you. Just wanted to own it, just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here, oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you. Now I must confess here, oh, I must confess, dear, don't think I'm in love with you. Winter is coming and I don't know what to do, and there's no more use in running, no more running to you. And I don't want your loving, I don't wanna be just friends, knowing all this time we were playing pretend, playing
It's a mystery.